Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. We are going to do a little watch party here and see if in fact Bitcoin, if it can conquer the 20-day moving average. So let me just copy this. We're not going to stay on too long, but let's see what happens. We're currently at 49,789. Let me just post this in a few different places. All right. Okay, so Bitcoin is at, how's everyone doing? Bitcoin's at 49,791. In case you guys are curious, the 20-week moving average is at 49,690. So we have in fact moved above it. The question is will Bitcoin decisively close above it in about 34 minutes and start printing another candle above it? This would be certainly bullish, not only for Bitcoin but for altcoins as well. So let's just keep an eye on this and see if Bitcoin can actually decisively stay above the 20-day moving average as we go into the daily close. We'll also throw the 21-day EMA up there as well because some people prefer that one. However, you can see the 20-day is actually where we're currently fighting at. We'll see if we do it. I mean, we've seen this before, right? We've seen ourselves go kind of above it, but then ultimately keep closing below it. So we'll see if we can decisively close above it. In order to decisively close above it, we need to close at 49,683, give or take, right? Give or take a few bucks, depending on what exchange you're using. What's a few dollars among friends? This is why I'm saying for people to be somewhat cautious, because until we decisively move above this, I'm not convinced yet that altcoins will have a major breakout. If Bitcoin does decisively move above this and comes back into this territory up here, then I think this would be really good for altcoins. So this is why we're watching it. And it's not to say that altcoins can't have, moves below it. Some probably will. But in terms of the asset class as a whole, the dominance of Bitcoin, if it's say like in this region right here, and just kind of chills out there for a few weeks or something, and it's below its prior all-time high, then this would be ideal for altcoins. Yeah, I mean, it could always dump, right? I mean, if there's one thing we know about Bitcoin is that it always reserves the right to dump. Also, we'll take a look at Ethereum as well. We'll throw on our bull market support for Ethereum. The bull market support for Ethereum ranges from 993 up to 1103. So Ethereum, what I would say for Ethereum is the winds have not changed yet. Okay, I don't think the winds have changed to favor Ethereum quite yet. In an event where Bitcoin goes above this and then like flattens out for a few weeks, I think that this would favor Ethereum. But certainly with Bitcoin volatility looking like this and just kind of trending down day after day, it's hard for Ethereum to really kick anything off. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Definitely subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Let's see if Bitcoin can ring home a close above the 20-day moving average in about 31 minutes. Yeah, and let's look at, so ADA is holding up relatively well. Like we know that ADA is holding up relatively well, and it has been for the last several weeks, sort of continuing its parabolic move here. ADA looks really strong still, right? I mean, it's moving sideways at $1.30, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. Like the fact that it's moving sideways at such a bullish valuation, especially in the short term, being at 129 or so. If we look at the ADA Ethereum valuation, we have in fact come down a little bit from our last discussion on ADA ETH. But still, I think it's possible that we still have a ways to go in these types of market conditions. So we'll see. I mean, obviously there's the big news, right? You could say buy the rumor, sell the news. We'll see. We'll see if ADA has any more gas left in the tank against Ethereum. Because certainly, certainly breaking above this level and going to the prior all-time high for ADA ETH would be fairly symbolic as well, because it hasn't been there since January of 2018. So my main thoughts now are: is this a bull trap, right? Is it kind of like some false hopium, if you will, where Bitcoin pumps 10% in a day, and then once we put on a new daily candle, it just comes straight back down. We've seen that before. We have seen that type of stuff before, right? We came up here and then we kind of dumped back down. We did eventually break it, but at the time, this is all we saw, right? We just saw, oh, we broke through it, but we closed below it, and then we closed below it again, and then we dumped down from the 20-day. Okay, so, and then here's another example where the orange line being the 20-day, we dumped down below it, we came back up to it, and then the next day we dumped below, back down below it. So that's my main thinking is this sort of a fake out to get people to believe that it's going to go back up to the upside, or is it actually going to decisively do it? Because if it does, as I said, I think this would be good for altcoins, assuming Bitcoin does not go into price discovery mode above 58K. I mean, if Bitcoin breaks it and then goes straight to 58K or something, like puts in another 20% tomorrow, then, say goodbye to your altcoin Bitcoin valuations, because Bitcoin's going to be stealing the show for a while. But if it sort of just levels out in this region, this would be good for altcoins. Do I think Ethereum will change its direction against Bitcoin real soon, or does it need more time? If you look, I mean, I don't know how much weight you can put on things like the RSI, but sometimes I like to look at it. Let me make this something so you guys can actually see what's going on. Let me make it white so it's not conflicting with the rest of the stuff. The level that it reached in December on the weekly RSI was around 38, 39. Right now it's around 48. But it has bounced around this level, right, in the past, close to this level in the past here. So if you look at where Ether is, right, so it bounced here, it rallied here, and then it had another bounce right here where it rallied on up, and then it bounced here, and we're close to that value. But it's also interesting to look at, say, the daily RSI, because the daily RSI bottomed in, say, late December at around 25 or so, which is also where it bottomed in October, and right now we're sitting at around 34. So, in terms of is there a momentum shift for Ethereum coming imminently? I'm not sure if it's going to come in, say, the next few days. It might, but I think that will be somewhat contingent on Bitcoin staying relatively bullish, but not putting in any new all-time highs. So ultimately, I'll just defer back to Bitcoin and say, well, Bitcoin will tell the tale. If Bitcoin dumps back down to 43K or something in the next couple of days, then almost assuredly Ethereum, the momentum shift is not going to occur just yet. If Bitcoin sort of just chills out at 50K for a couple weeks, then yeah, I think the tides can change. But that's a big if, right? It's a huge if, and we cannot be sure about anything like that at the moment. If you look at, say, I was looking at, if we look at, say, like the Rsi Strategy or something, and we want to look at where it is in terms of specific values that we just want to sort of overlay. If we hide this, right, and this is just the default parameters, but if you were to say change this to like 24, 25, and 74 to try to get it more oversold and more overbought, it does a decent job of finding where, say, the local top was right here and the local bottom right here. And then here was another bottom in this area, and then it sort of predicted a top, but we know that it did rally a little bit again before dropping. So I don't know that it's necessarily the best at predicting. For instance, this one right here, it did not reach it, but maybe it just barely missed it or something. Like if we throw the RSI back on there, let's see what it reached at that level. Yeah, it was all the way. I mean, up here it reached 87. Is this right? 87. I think that's 87. But anyways, if we see it flash again, right? If we see it flash again, if this is coming down and you see this sort of signal flash, then maybe that would be an indication that it might be about to move. Last time, if you look at prior cycles, at key milestones like the one we're at, like if you go to say like, and I'm not saying this is the market cycle top by any means, but if you go to say the 2017 peak, and look to see where Bitcoin in fact actually bounced. Let's hide these. It bounced out the 50-day, and it was in this little dead cat bounce. These are the 2 weeks where Ethereum rallied. So it was back above. It got back above the 20-day, but it didn't put in a new all-time high. And then that is when the Ether Bitcoin valuation went crazy. So right now, I think we're sort of just waiting to see what Bitcoin does, and Bitcoin will ultimately tell us if it's going to give altcoins another chance to continue moving, or if it's going to steal the show, and it will steal the show whether it goes up quickly or down quickly. So we have about 24 minutes before we get the daily close, and then we can say, okay, well, we closed above the 20-day or we didn't. So far, we just have a small wick above it. The current price is 49,550. The 20-day moving average is at 49,678. Make sure you guys subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. We have like an order of magnitude more viewers than likes, so definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We also have the Telegram channel that you guys can check out. I will post it. We have over 19,000 people, so it's growing relatively quickly. If you guys want to check out the Telegram channel, I just posted it in the chat for those who want to join that. All right, so we're still flirting around these 20-day moving average levels with a close coming in 23 minutes. Let's take a look at DOT. I mean, you know, I got to tell you guys, like, I feel like this is one of those sort of opportunities where a lot of people aren't even, you know, it's not necessarily stealing the show. Like, it hasn't been putting in the same gains that ADA has. And I'm very bullish on ADA long term, so don't get me wrong. But DOT, I mean, look at this train, right? It's like a systematic move up. And you know, this is one of those things that it's not really slowly moving up, but by some people's standards, this is a slow move up, and it's just sort of continuing on this path right now. And what's impressive is despite the fact that Bitcoin has had fairly impressive dips, DOT is still holding on to its 20-day moving average, right? It held it as support here at $5 in December. It held it as support at $8 in January. It held it as support at $15, $16 in late January, early February, and now it held it again at $30 in late February. So, I mean, you know, if the market conditions remain unchanged and Bitcoin continues to stay relatively bullish, then, I mean, if you look at, say, the time, this is from test to test, this is about 58% over 15 days. Then we have another, you know, 100% over 19 days. Then we have 87% over 26 days. If we were to continue this, let's just look at it we're sort of, the percentage is kind of going up and then going back down, so no pattern there. This one's getting longer, so 15 to 19 to 26. Let's suppose we come back up maybe like in 32 days and we go up another, you know, 80% or something. I mean, we could be testing $60 in a month. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if Bitcoin remains bullish and altcoins like DOT just sort of remain, like if the status quo is kept the same, then this would seem like the path of least resistance, right? Just a slow trend up, if you want to call it slow. I mean, I don't necessarily consider a move from $3 back a few months ago to $35 necessarily that slow, but I'm just saying this is a train, and I've been riding it for a while, and I'm not jumping off. I'm not getting off at the next station quite yet. So definitely, I would say keep your eyes on DOT. It's nice to have a coin that is just continuing its methodical move up during these types of market conditions. Let's check back in on Bitcoin. We're at 49,603. So we are about, you know, $80 below the 20-day moving average, with the close coming in about 20 minutes. By the way, thanks for getting me to 150,000 subscribers. I appreciate it. What's the close based on? It's just UTC time. So UTC time's coming up in 19 minutes. Most all of it we discuss is in terms of UTC time. Yeah, we can check in on Link. Let's check in on Link. Let's see how Link's doing. So Link is doing fairly well. I mean, if you look at just kind of what it's done over the last few years, from 13 cents up to $27, this methodical move up, definitely a train I want to be on. So, I mean, Link does really stand the test of time. Yes, it can have corrections, but what coin doesn't? Not many coins, again, are an order of magnitude above their 2018 all-time highs. I think Link looks good. I mean, obviously, its Bitcoin valuation isn't looking so hot these days. It's bled a lot. But as we always said, we really don't know how Link is going to behave in a bear market or in a bull market for Bitcoin. We don't know if it's going to be able to keep up with it. So far, it does seem to have trailed off a bit, especially if you were to go put the Link Bitcoin exponential fit bands on here, which we were tracking at one point. If you guys remember, we had these bands and we saw it kind of go above the band and then back down and then above, or to the top and then back down and then above and then back down and then now we've kind of come down to here. So it might be veering off to a new pattern at this point, but I'm still waiting. I think until we get to a phase where Bitcoin volatility has decisively calmed down, I don't know that we can fully say that we understand exactly where Link is headed, because it's still fighting against a bullish Bitcoin, which it hasn't been doing in prior years, right? I mean, the last 6 months is really the first time the valuation of Link has been fighting against a bullish Bitcoin. Okay, we're slightly above the 20-day moving average now. We're at 49,748. Clearly, a move above 50K and closing above 50K would probably be fairly bullish for the entire market. And again, we have that coming up in about 17 minutes or so. Yeah, a lot of the volatility comes like around the closing time, whether it's the weekly close, the daily close, the monthly close. Speaking of monthly close, why don't we pull up the monthly close for Bitcoin? Something interesting about this is that if you look back, there aren't like that many times recently where we've had 6 green candles in a row. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're currently in our 6th green candle. The one from 2019 was 5 in a row before having this one, a red one. So it might be something to keep an eye on, especially if Bitcoin, imagine Bitcoin has, say, if it goes into price discovery mode, then all bets are off, and then we'll just have to see kind of where it calms down, and then we'll reassess. But if it doesn't, and it has like a dead cat bounce back up to like 53K, 54K, 55K, something like that, and then it drops back down, then we would see that wick sort of come up close to it, just like this one did here, but maybe not quite. And then if it does come back down, then it could turn red. Okay, so that would be something to look for. The reason I say it is not that, it's possible that we get a 6 monthly candle green in a row. It just hasn't happened that, it doesn't happen that frequently. Like here's 3 in a row, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we haven't really had 6 green candles in a row anytime recently. I'm guessing that if, to find 6 in a row, we'd have to look at the BLX or something, or one of the ones that has more data and go back to the cycle before. And I know we'll find some there, because I remember that there were times where it just went up a lot over, say, 6 months or something. But, here, if we are able to have a green candle in... this one just shows February because it hasn't updated yet, but this is just 5. But if we have, say, a 6 one, if we have a 6 candle in a row that's green, it would be the first time since, not last market cycle, because we didn't have any last market cycle, that were 6 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the last time we had 6 green monthly candles in a row was back in November, starting November of 2012, and ending April of 2013. And this is why I've been saying, this is one of the reasons why I've been saying, you know, this cycle looks more emblematic of 2 cycles ago than the last cycle. And this is another example of how it might compare, especially if it puts in a 6 monthly candle in a row that is green. But anyways, right now we're back below the 20-day moving average with 14 minutes to go. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. We also have the Telegram channel. You can find a link to that in the description below. I'll also paste it in the comments. And also remember that we do have the premium list sale. If you guys want to check that out, you can. It's in the description below, but you can also find it in the comments as well. As far as Link goes, if you're just kind of sitting on Link, I don't really necessarily expect it to do anything crazy for several more months. Okay, now it could go to 35 bucks, it could go to 45 bucks, maybe even $50. I wouldn't necessarily consider that to be a crazy move, but if you're talking about a $100 Link, I think that's still a ways off, to be completely honest, because I don't, Link does not historically put in amazing gains when Bitcoin is. So I think what we would need to see again for Link to start putting in fairly impressive gains is for Bitcoin volatility to have decisively calmed down for a few weeks. And until that happens, I don't necessarily see Link going to those values, the 3-digit range. I think it will later this cycle. I mean, it's not financial advice, of course. I think Link will make it to 3 digits later this cycle, but I don't think it's going to happen, say, like tomorrow or anything, especially as Bitcoin volatility stays this high. Let's see where we are. We're at 49,755. So we are, in fact, above the 20-day moving average again with about 13 minutes to go. So let's see if we can close above it. And if we do close above it, we'll then want to see how the next candle develops, right? Because if we close, say, like above it, and then the next candle starts pushing up, this could be, I imagine this could be relatively bullish for a lot of altcoin positions. So something to keep in mind. Also, something to keep in mind is that one of our coins does tend to move with Bitcoin fairly closely, and that's DOT. So despite the fact that Bitcoin volatility has remained high over the last few weeks, the DOT Bitcoin valuation has not precluded the DOT Bitcoin valuation from continuing to move up. Let's look at the weekly time frame. So the DOT Bitcoin valuation still looks relatively strong, despite the fact that Bitcoin volatility has remained high. And here we can also look out on, say, like a daily time frame as well. DOT Bitcoin looks really strong, just like Ethereum Bitcoin did back in 2015, 2016 time frame, right? The bleed down, the move back up, and then we just continue along our merry way. So let me delete this one and this one. So again, we've talked about this before, but you can see the resemblance of the Ethereum Bitcoin launch and then it breaking through, and then the DOT Bitcoin launch, right? It's very similar, and it has broken through, and it is slowly trending up. It's not necessarily getting all the flashy headlines because it's a more methodical move, but it is trending up. The DOT Bitcoin valuation is in fact trending up. All right, Bitcoin USD is now 49,797 with 11 minutes to go till the 20-day or till the close. Can I show how to make the 20-day moving average line up here on the chart? Sure. You click on indicator, and then you go to you can just type in moving average, right? You just type in moving average, and from here, let me just show you. So moving average, right? And you just click on moving average right here, and then you'll go over to the little settings, and you'll need to change the input to 20. And then after you change it to 20, you need to make sure you're on the daily time frame, because if you switch it over to the weekly time frame, then you're looking at the 20-week moving average. So if you're just looking to get the 20-day moving average, that's all you have to do. Yeah, I know everyone keeps talking about and I've mentioned it too, right? The March 13th dump from 2020, and is that going to repeat? It might, but I would probably err on the side of it not necessarily. I mean, so March 13th would mark 1 year from when people could claim long-term capital gains on their March 13th purchases. But we also do know that, I mean, including myself, we were buying throughout the rest of March and April and May. I mean, it's not like we're just going to cash everything out on March 13th, because that would only correspond to a portion of long-term capital gain stacks. There still would be a significant amount of Bitcoin that we would have bought that would not even be close to long-term capital gains. I mean, I was buying Bitcoin for, throughout much later in the year. So what might happen, one plausible scenario that I could see happening is that people will remember March 13th as approaching, and we might have a little bit of a sell-off. But then once it passes and there's not a major dump, if that happens, then maybe it can lead to another rally, and then maybe a more substantial correction a few weeks later. I mean, I think that we've seen these moves in the crypto market class last for several months. So I don't think there's necessarily anything precluding March from continuing to be bullish for at least the entire cryptocurrency asset class. I don't know if Bitcoin is going to close higher than it did at the February close, which was if we look at, say, the monthly close here for February, it was $45,000. So I don't know if March will close above $45,000 for Bitcoin, but if it's even around these levels a month from now, then it likely represents there's likely going to be an appreciation in the altcoin market if it closes at around the same level. So that's why I think it's still relatively okay, even if Bitcoin does have a red candle, it'd be okay for the altcoin market as long as it's not like a red candle that takes it to the 20-week moving average or something crazy like that. I mean, obviously, one thing to always look at with Bitcoin, I mean, we talked about it for years on the channel, so we might as well throw it up there and keep it up, is the regression band, and recognizing that we did flirt with it a little bit, and that doesn't mean we can't go higher. We sort of hit the bottom of it. If you zoom in, you can see we had one single wick that lasted a very short period of time that went into our peak regression band. So, I mean, I would not be surprised at all if this ends up being a local top for a while, and then but I'm not saying we have to go all the way back down here. I mean, it could always just look like something like this, where we then trend back up later on. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. But also, we reserve the right to say, you know what, it barely went into it. We could easily come into it and go to the top of the regression band as well, which is where we went back in 2017, and it's also where we went back in 2013, which is on the, if we look at, say, like the BLX and throw the same chart up, the regression bands. So this is sort of our macroscopic view of the market. Certainly, it seems plausible that we could have another leg up potentially. But as I said, given that whether you believe in the 4-year cycle, lengthening cycles, whatever, even if there is a correction in the short term, I don't think, I do think that later this market cycle we will trend back up and below past $58,000. I do not think that 58K will be the market cycle peak for Bitcoin. And part of that is what we discussed earlier in the video we did on the channel called Bitcoin, the Beauty of Mathematics, right? So let's see what Bitcoin does, because it's still flirting with the 20-day moving average. So let's we're coming up on the close in about 6 minutes, and we might as well watch it and see what it does. So the 20-day moving average is at 49,682. We're currently at 49,612. And by the way, closing below it doesn't mean we can't just go above it tomorrow. I just think that closing above it and then starting a new candle where we trend up is going to be very bullish for altcoins. But we might just get rejected, and maybe this is just one of those bull traps that people sort of chase, and then tomorrow we're coming right back down, right? That's always an option. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Definitely subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. We're still putting in rookie numbers on our like to viewer ratio, so like the video, definitely subscribe. Let's go for 160,000 subscribers, right? Why the hell not? 150,000 is nice. Wonder what 160,000 would feel like. Also, remember to check out our Telegram channel, over 19,000 people. I would encourage you guys to check it out. I also see you guys constantly asking about microcap coins. Remember, we have a microcap channel, so if you're looking to show your microcap, that's fine. Just don't do it in the public chat room or the main chat room. Do it into the CryptoCosm chat, which I just posted in the comments. So if you're looking to show your microcaps and you want to go altcoin hunting, To say it nicely, check out Into the Cryptocosm chat. All right, we are going to close in 5 minutes. We are flirting with a 20-day moving average. We're at 49,658, which is about $25 or so below the 20-day moving average. Why? If I'm not going to monetize my videos, why do I need more subscribers? I mean, I don't want to monetize my videos, but why can't I want a bigger audience? No one's got time for ads anyways, right? Ain't no one got time for that. We gotta be efficient, right? We gotta talk about the market. If I make you guys watch an ad before the video, I mean, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs for like 10 seconds waiting to get past the BS ad that is being shown to you, just so you can skip it. We don't need that here. Ethereum's looking actually pretty good. It's at 1570 here, so it's trending up. Let's see, Ether Bitcoin is at, I mean, it still hasn't really decisively turned around yet, by any means. But I could see it coming, sometime in the next, maybe now, maybe in a few, maybe in a week or two. I do think there will be a shift to come. No, I'm not going to add a donations button. You can always just invest your money if you're looking to throw money away on YouTube donations. Just go invest it. All right, we're still flirting with it. We're coming to the close in 3 minutes. We are, within about, I mean, we're right on top of the 20-day. So pretty cool moment to see it, right above that level, because we always talk about the 20-day, and you can see we're fighting to get to it. We're fighting, the bulls are fighting the bears to close above the 20-day moving average because it keeps fluctuating right around that price. Again, the 20-day is at 49,684, and we keep going above and below it like every like minute or so. No, I'm not going to enable ads. Because they also show some of those scam ads, and that's not something I want to propagate. Do I have an exit strategy? Yeah, we have exit strategy videos. Just go look at risk. If you go to my channel and type in risk, you'll see some exit strategy videos. How do you measure the future move of the RSI versus the future price? Well, I mean, it's just an equation, so you just plug in whatever you think the future price is going to be. Maybe I can create my own personal token. I'm good. There's enough garbage altcoins in the market. I'm not going to create another one. All right, we're about to come to the close. We're actually slightly below it right now. Let's see if we close below it or above it. I'm guessing we're going to close. I mean, we're basically right on top of it. We're about $50 below it. Of course, it probably will also depend on what exchange you're using. Some exchanges, is going to be slightly different, I guess. All right, we're $40 below it, $50 below it. Probably coming up on the close in a few seconds. The website and the Patreon stuff are the same thing. It's the same exact thing. All right, and I'm guessing we're about to have the close. There it is. Okay, so we did close below it. Now, if you're curious, the area to look out for now would be 49,921. Okay, so the 20-day moving average is now at 49,921. We did close below it, so no decisive breakout yet into these more bullish waters. Okay, so moving above here would be more bullish for altcoins. We have not moved above it yet. So as I've said before, do not schedule your Forbes interview quite yet. I think you need to wait a little while because we don't know. I mean, if we just come straight back down, then we're kicking the can down the road for a little bit. Everyone's always talking about these pools like that are selling Bitcoin and causing the price to crash and market manipulation, blah blah blah, whatever these other YouTube people are spoon feeding you. This is this is just ridiculous. It's called a market. People can buy, sell, they can do whatever they want. It's called a market. It's not market manipulation. It's the market. So don't listen. I mean, this market manipulation garbage is not worth, in my opinion, it's not worth paying any attention to. Because they say it no matter what, right? No matter what happens, if it goes the opposite direction they want, it's market manipulation, and if it goes the direction they do want, then everything's just perfectly fine. It's not how it works. It's a market. Markets go up, markets go down. People can provide selling pressure, buying pressure based on whatever the hell they want to. It does not make it manipulation. It makes it a market. All right, so again, as I said before, the next area to look for the 20-day is now 49,923. That would be the area that we would want to get above for Bitcoin to really get into more of that euphoric stage. I mean, obviously at this point, if it gets to there, we're looking at 50K, right? I mean, if it's going to 49.9, then clearly 50K would be like a major euphoric breakout type moment. Because if it gets back to 50K and starts trending above it and then stays below its prior all-time high at 58K, then this is very bullish for other coins like Ethereum, probably for Cardano, for DOT. I mean, look at DOT. As I said before, look at this champ. Now it's at $36, just continuing to ride the DOT train, right? There's nothing wrong with just getting a ticket. And I keep saying it every time we hit the 20-day moving average, right? Just there's nothing wrong with just getting your ticket and hopping on board. Again, we don't know what the short-term price moves will bring because it will depend on Bitcoin. But if you're looking at this from say like for the full market cycle, this is definitely a train, I think, that you don't want to miss. And you might say, well, $36 is high because it was $5 or $3 not that long ago. Yeah, but I mean, like, what if in a year or two, where you're looking at it at like $200 and you're saying, oh, well, I wish I bought it at $30 or something. I think this is a train, right? It's a train, and the train's just slowly heading up right now. As long as Bitcoin stays relatively healthy, it's DOT's just going up, right? It just keeps systematically going up with slight corrections along the way. If we were to do like a bar pattern and maybe try to overlay some of this, and then just sort of shift it over, maybe we'll shift it again, something like that. If it were to repeat, I mean, you can see how quickly things can get out of hand if this trend just simply sort of continues, right? If it bounces up and comes back down, then people are going to be frustrated that it's back down to $50 or something. We'll see where it goes, right? I mean, it's definitely a train that I don't want to miss out on. All right, Bitcoin's moving up now. It's at 49.8. So it's sort of it's testing the 20-day, right? It's testing the 20-day again. It's trying to see if it can break through. Ether Bitcoin, still no major breakout. It's still at 0.0316. Ether USD looks okay, but again, I wouldn't get out of bed for it necessarily because we're still looking at a $1,500 Ether. The Ethereum tsunami has not yet started, and it could be weeks away for all we know. Okay, and personally, I would prefer it to be weeks away because I still want to play with some altcoins for a while before Ethereum steals the show. That doesn't mean that Ethereum can't have a few days where it sort of trends up a couple $100. But when I talk about an Ethereum tsunami, we're talking about maybe several days in a row of it trending up a couple $100. Okay, this would be an Ethereum tsunami. If we're not seeing that, we're playing in the sandbox with Ethereum, right? This is just playing in the sandbox with Ethereum. No one really cares about the short-term implications. There was something I thought I found that was interesting. If you go to the Ether USD chart on Kraken and switch over to the 12-day time frame, and then put on the 20, so it's the 20 on the 12-day, which would be the 240-day moving average, averaged out on 12-day increments. It's funny because we had this wick on Kraken that took us identically to that moving average. And the funny thing is we had one last cycle too on Ether USD on Kraken, right here that took us to the exact same moving average, right? The exact same thing. And if you take a measured move from the top of the candle to the bottom of the wick, it was about a 70% drop. Let's get that more accurate. About a 70% drop on that sort of like, you know, kind of weird wick or whatever. And then so that was a 70% drop. And then on this one, if we go to, say, the top of the candle to the bottom, it was about a 62% drop. And they went to the same moving average on the 12-day time frame. I thought that was kind of interesting, right? So it's kind of one of those lessons to say, well, you know, maybe it's not the worst idea in the world to have buys set up, scaling, you know, and I actually did have one set up on Ethereum that did get triggered at around 1,028. I got lucky. I had one on DOT, but it did not get triggered. And I was very upset about that because it actually came really close to being triggered by about like 50 cents or so. Like I honestly forgot I had it set. But if you look at like the .USD valuation on Kraken, it came all the way down here, and I had a buy at around $12 or so, and it barely missed it, it was very unfortunate. And the $12 buy was something I completely forgotten about. Like I'd set it over here somewhere, and then I completely forgot I had it, and then I saw it came within like 50 cents of hitting it. So maybe F in the chat to pay your respects on that buy not getting hit. Anyways, we're at now 49,860, so we're approaching. We're still flirting. We're still riding that 20-day moving average, right? We're right on top of it. We need to get to 49,933. Obviously, a break above 50K would be very bullish for the entire market as a whole. By the way, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. We need to get to 1,000 likes. Surely, we need to get to 1,000 likes. We have 3,100 viewers, so make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. We have the microcap channel I just posted. You guys can check that out. We also have the Into the Cryptoverse Telegram channel. If you guys want to check that out, you can do that as well. And as another reminder, we have the premium list. If you guys are looking for exclusive content, you can check that out as well. And you can find a link to the sale in the description, or I'll post it in the comments. All right, let's see what we do. We're at 49,874, so we are trending up closer to that 20-day moving average target here. Ether is sort of keeping pace. It's not breaking out against Bitcoin, but it is at least keeping pace with Bitcoin. So let's switch this back over, and let's get our bull market support band on here, back on the weekly time frame, and remove this. And we can see that the bull market support band for Ethereum now actually ranges from 994 to 1105. So the bull market support, which is where we've historically found support in a bull market and a dump, like we did over here, that level is now at almost $1,000, which is pretty substantial. So next week, the Ethereum bull market support will in fact go above $1,000 for the first time ever, right? For the first time ever. Back over here in 2018, the highest it ever reached was around 781. It never reached $1,000. I know some people get bearish on Ethereum because it hasn't done what you were hoping in the short term, but I do think its time will come. I mean, it's already gone up, what, like 16x from the current price back to March. I think it has more in store. I think we just have to be patient and wait a little bit longer for the market cycle to continue to unfold. ADA is sort of just chilling at $1.30 right now, which is actually pretty incredible if you think about how amazing that is, right? When it was less than 2 cents back in March, a year ago, it was less than 2 cents, and if we said that it would just be moving sideways at $1.30, that's pretty crazy to think about. Is 1,000 Link FUD? I don't think Link's gonna make it to $1,000 this market cycle, but maybe a future, maybe the next one or something. Yeah, I do think the Ethereum killer narrative is playing out again, right? ADA's pumping, you see DOT pumping, Binance coins pumping. These will probably continue to pump, and at some point, we'll see the profits flow back into Ethereum for a nice Ethereum move. Isn't the joke $1,000 Link in the year? You just never specify what year. Do I have a projection for Uni? As I've said before with Uni, I think it's a top 20 coin. So somewhere between, you know, number 10 to number 20, that's where I think Uni belongs. So I think the valuation will be probably whatever it needs to be, you know, between the top 10 to top 20. That's my gut feeling. Again, it's not something you can take to the bank. It's not financial advice. I really have no idea where it will go. But as I said, when it first launched and it was like ranked 40 or 50, I think it's a top 20 coin. And I think it'll stay in the top 20. It might even poke its head in the top 10 occasionally, for all we know. Yeah, you guys don't need to keep asking me about Litecoin. I've already given my opinion on Litecoin. And as Fabio Miranda points out, I only do it about once a month. Because after about a few weeks, there's so many Litecoin comments that I do a spiel on it. Um, yeah, I mean, Cosmos is another coin. It's relatively interesting, right? It's a similar idea, a hedge. I don't actually own any, but I mean, it's a similar idea. Yeah, most of my market cap dominance analysis is on the premium list, not the public channel. And that says, I have a question on the regression band. The local top in April 2013 was at the top of the regression band by that time. No, it wasn't. It did not make it to the top of the regression band at that point. No. It made it, I mean, it made it fairly close. Like if it had gone up another 53%, it would have made it. But no, it did not quite make it. And again, the reason why I think these upper regression band, you have to have some flexibility with it is because it's only fit to 3 data points. So it's not something you can necessarily take to the bank. I'm not going to say that it's decisively going to go above it. I would be more inclined to think, if we do come in this area, we probably, there's a decent chance we come back down before maybe trending up later. But it's only a 3 data point fit. It's not something you take to the bank. It's not anywhere nearly as good as the lower band, because that one's fit to thousands of data points, which I consider to be non-bubble data. The top one is not necessarily that accurate, but it does provide a general guide, I think, right? The purpose is to provide a general guide as to where we are. All right, Bitcoin's at 49.9, so we are in fact approaching the new spot for the 20-day MA at 49,934, or in 49,935. We're at 49,900 right now, so we're still trying to break it. Bitcoin's still trying to break it, but you can see that that's where the bulls and the bears were fighting basically for the last hour. And they did not. The bulls did not win, right? The bears ultimately won if the goal was to close either above or below. So you can see now we're approaching what the new 20-day moving average is, right? Now that the 20-day moving average has moved up to 49.9, now we're fighting there rather than down here at 49.6, which is where we spent several hours today. We immediately moved up to the next spot where the 20-day moving average is, and in fact, right now we're $4 below the 20-day moving average, right? Where the 20-day moving average being 49,937, right now we're at 49,933. So clearly the bears are selling some right here and trying to push the price down in the hopes that we don't break through the 20-day. All right, we're still right around it. We're slightly above it now. Clearly 50K would be a pretty major milestone, right, for us to break. Otherwise, a nice rejection could send us back down. Dot doesn't care. It's just moving up, 3640. The dot train continues. It's funny because my Polkadot videos get like by far the least number of views, but I do think that Polkadot is going to make a lot of people a lot of money this cycle. It already has, and I think it will continue to do so. ETH Bitcoin is moving a little. We're back at 0.0318. Nothing to get out of bed for yet. You can stay rested on your pillow, but just something to keep in mind. Let's actually look at it on the weekly time frame and see how it looks. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see a bounce. We'll see. Depends on how bullish Bitcoin stays. Yeah, I do think a decent number of people are sleeping on DOT. I really do, just because it's not as flashy as the returns that ADA has been giving. And I'm very bullish on ADA. And by the way, I have more ADA than DOT, right? I mean, during the accumulation phase, I had more ADA than DOT, so I'm very bullish on ADA. But I do think that a lot of people are sleeping on DOT as well. All right, we're at 49,966. Let's see if we break 50K again. 49,960, 49,980. So we are getting close. Let's switch this over to maybe the minute time frame and see what's up. So 49,991, 998. Remember, if it goes to like 52K, 53K, and then just chills out, this is good for altcoins. If it just goes straight back to price discovery mode, then your alt Bitcoin valuations are likely going down. So just something to keep in mind. All right, 49,998. All right, we have some sellers at 49.9. Ether Bitcoin went back down to 0.0317 as Bitcoin's surging back to 50K. I'm sure it hit 50K on some exchanges. I don't really care. We're looking at Coinbase. We're not looking at these other exchanges. Do I think we'll have another bear market? Well, of course. I mean, there's bear markets in any market. Of course, we're gonna have bear markets at certain points. Remember to subscribe to the channel. I don't even know what we're at now. I think we're at 150. I don't know if we're at 151 yet. Let's see. We are at 151. Make sure you subscribe. Let's go for 152. Why the hell not? Subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Yeah, I got it. I got that it hit 50K on some places. I got that. I mean, normally if Coinbase is looking at 49,998, then yeah, of course there's going to be some exchanges where it's going to be at 50K. All right, coming back up on 50K. We're at 49,978. When I yawn when I'm doing a live stream, I just wonder if I make 3,400 other people yawn. 49,996. Closing in on that 50K mark. We'll see if we break it. Look at DOT. It's a champ. Continuing to move up. 36.66. I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on DOT this cycle. Don't sleep on DOT. 36.66. Bitcoin at 49,983. The yawn power, right? Someone says there's 5 dislikes. That's okay. I assume the people that are disliking the video are the ones that don't like money. So they don't like making money, so they dislike the video. Chaboy says, my subscriber count is going up with the market cap of crypto, but missing a few zeros. I think my subscriber count goes up on volatility, whether it's upwards or downwards volatility. It's when the market goes sideways where the number of subscribers just sort of levels off. Like during the accumulation phase, there was a phase. Do you guys remember when Bitcoin was sort of like range bound between like 8,600 and like 9,900 for back in the summer, early summer last year, or in the summer? I was getting like 20 subs a day, and now with the market like this, I'm getting like 2,000 subs a day. So it really does. It really, I mean, it goes up with volatility, whether it's the upside or the downside. Actually, I've noticed. You can sort of feel it though, right? I mean, you feel like we're like on the cusp of breaking through 50K, and on breaking 50K might come more euphoria for the altcoin market, assuming Bitcoin doesn't just make a straight run at 58K. Like this is where the euphoria is, right? Is like above 50K. Like if Bitcoin's at 52K or 53K, but not putting in new all-time highs at like 60K or something, that's where the euphoria is for the altcoin market. All right, we're at 49,999. Let's see if we break it. We're right there at 50K. I'm guessing we're about to hit 50K. 49,999.99. Let's see, 50. One more cent. Are we going to get a huge rejection, or are we going to break it? $49,999.09. There it is, 50K. All right, let's see. All right, it's above 50. It's moving up. Moving up a little quickly, actually. Now we're at 50,094. 50, yeah. So we're above 50K now. So we are in. I mean, we're doing fairly well, I'd say. Ether Bitcoin is starting to get more bullish. Now it's at 0.0319. So you can see it is starting to move up a little bit. So now it's about to break 1,600. So it looks like it's trying to break 1,600 now. Bitcoin's at 50,070. So what would be ideal for Ethereum? You know, if you have a lot of Ethereum's actually at 1,600. So what would be ideal for Ethereum again would be for Bitcoin to maybe go up a little bit more. Even if it stayed here, it's probably fine, right? I mean, a stable 50K Bitcoin is probably good for Ethereum. But if Bitcoin were to maybe go up another 1 or 2K, where it's decisively above its 20-day moving average and start moving sideways, this would be great for Ethereum. Otherwise, if Bitcoin goes into price discovery mode above 58K, it'll likely drag Ethereum up with it, but the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation, as we know, would likely bleed. The Ethereum Bitcoin valuation is slightly trending up right now, if you guys notice, because it was at 0.0317 about 10 minutes ago, and now it's at 0.0319. So it's a subtle shift, but it is shifting slightly. We're at 50.1. Almost coming up, closing in on 50.2. All right, we break 50.2. Check back in on Ether Bitcoin, looking good. Let's switch Ether Bitcoin over to a 1 minute so you guys can see it. Like you can see it, so you can see it's trending up, right? It was at 0.0313 not even that long ago, but now it's been trending up here. Ether USD is at 1603. DOT is a champ. I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on DOT. Almost $37. Do not sleep on DOT. ADA's cooling off, which isn't that surprising, right? I mean, let it cool off for a few days. I mean, it's had an amazing run. I don't necessarily expect anything major out of ADA at the moment. I wonder what Link's trending up slightly, but again, nothing to get out of bed for, I don't think. All right. We're flirting with these levels. I think the thing to look out for will be, can Bitcoin close the daily close tomorrow? Well, I mean, I guess technically later today, but for me it would be tomorrow. Can it close above 49,945? Because if it does, if it closes above that tomorrow, I think that would be a really nice sign for the altcoin market, as long as it doesn't continue to move up too quickly. So I would say keep an eye on that. Ahmed, I already answered your question, so now I just know you're spamming the question without actually listening to what I'm saying. I wouldn't, as I said before, I mean, this doesn't necessarily mean I mean, we could still go below the 20 days, so we still have a little bit of work to do. Yes, I would like it for altcoin mania to start, but I think we need to be a little bit patient here and see what Bitcoin does. All right, we are at 50.2. By the way, guys, remember to subscribe to the channel if you like the content. We also have the premium list as well as the Telegram channel. You guys should check it out. I'll post them in the comments. You can find a link to it in the description below. Actually, if you guys want, also you should check out my Twitter. I don't know. I actually post a lot of interesting charts, I feel like, on Twitter. So if you guys are looking to follow me on Twitter, you can find a link to it in the description. I'll also post a link in the chat if you guys want to follow me on Twitter. Yeah, we can look at Avalanche. We can look at Avalanche. Let's see what it's doing. $29. So yeah, I mean it had a nice little dump here, but let's see where it is. So it moved up here. It moved up 400% and then came back down 23%. And then now it moved up again 450%, and then it's pulled back. It's a pretty nice pullback, 63%. Maybe bouncing a little. It's up from the local bottom here. It's up around 30% or so. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. The Avalanche Bitcoin, I'm curious how that looks, actually. I haven't checked it in a little while. So you can see it looks similar to that DOT Bitcoin valuation and the Ether Bitcoin valuation from 2015, 2016, like down in Q4, up in January, and then breaking through, came up, and then it's maybe starting to turn back around. We'll see what happens with it. All right, Bitcoin's back at 50.2. Yeah, we can look at the dollar. Let's look at the dollar because we're still not above the bull market support. I don't believe. I haven't checked it in a couple days. I haven't actually checked it since the close. Let me see where the dollar is, because this usually gives us some insight into Bitcoin. Let's switch this over to the weekly time frame. So what I would say, we're approaching it. This is a pretty interesting level, actually. We've been following this for a few months, and we said we can trend sideways here for a few months. The 20-week is at 91.152. Right now we're at 91.039. So if you want crypto, if you want Bitcoin to go up, then you don't want what happened in 2018 to happen, right? You don't want the dollar breaking through this band here and then going above it. We're testing it again, like a little over 3 years later, or about 3 years later, because we tested it in April. So now of 2018, now we're in March of 2021. If we move above it over the next few weeks, that's not good for crypto. We're still more or less just trending sideways so far, So nothing to get out of bed for. But if we break above it, probably not good for Bitcoin. Or stocks, for that matter. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. No, I do not use Elliott wave theory. Yeah, I know the 10-year bond yield. I mean, of course I follow that. You know, it doesn't. I think that I think that it's not necessarily the same. Like, it's not necessarily as important, but it's a useful benchmark for interest rates in general. I think that, as I was talking about this earlier, I think one of the main things is whether, you know, at some point there's speculation that with all the money printing, that theoretically people might start to lose confidence in, like, you know, in the United States, like the fact that they'll actually you know, basically the borrowing could get too far out of hand where people start to lose faith. And with these unprecedented spending plans, you know, it's obviously easy to push that narrative. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? I mean, I mean, I think we should take it one step at a time. And I've talked before about it is the idea of, you know, when stocks were dipping the other day, I think that the S&P went down like 2.5% or something like that. And I think one reason people were freaking out is because of the idea that, like, the dividend discount model. So for in terms of equity valuation. Where's the party music? Just put on your own music. Yo, DJ, we need some tunes. I'm not playing music for you guys. This isn't entertainment. This is how to make money, right? It's a money-making channel, not an entertainment channel. But are you not entertained? You can put on your own music. All right, back below the 20-day. Well, maybe we'll fight it today. We'll fight the 20-day. You want my party music? Yeah. I missed the golden opportunity to rickroll you. That's probably a good point. Any reason I'm ignoring the vet questions? I'm not ignoring any questions. You want me to look at VeChain? You can look at VeChain. I usually just look at it in terms of the ETH ratio, though, so I think it's still fairly low down here. So yeah, I mean, until it makes a major move up here, it's nothing to get out of bed for, right? It's just, again, playing in the sandbox for now. It's the VeChain Ethereum valuation. Rob says he created Twitter to follow me. I appreciate that. I mean, hopefully it's useful. Did I expect such a big bull run this market cycle? I didn't expect it to go up this quickly, no. But I do think that Bitcoin, over the duration of the cycle, within a couple years or so, will probably reach well over into the six figures. My general thinking is that it'll peak somewhere between $100,000 to $200,000, but we could easily have 40 to 50% corrections on the way to $100,000 to $200,000. if I were to spend 5K to hold until next year, what would you pick? It depends on um, I mean, it depends on what you already have, right? I mean, I think if you don't have anything, I mean, the general advice I always say is start with Bitcoin. Not that it's financial advice, of course. I'm actually going to do another video on modern portfolio theory here in a little bit. I was actually going to publish it earlier, but then I was in the middle of recording it, and then my 1-year-old started screaming, so I had to stop the video um, uh, and I just will do it. I'll have to do it later. Why do I think the bull run will last longer? When See, Jay, these types of questions, like it's hard to answer them because you've already identified you've already said it's a 4-year cycle. So why do you think that's going to last longer? I mean, I'm not saying it's definitively not going to end in 4 years, but you basically already decided what you think it's going to be. So then you're saying, well, how can it be longer if it's a 4-year cycle? Um, I mean, this is not at all maintaining like an open mind. But if you want my opinion, why? I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Generally speaking, we just look at the cycle, each cycle, and the idea of, this one going up over the course of, say, bottom to peak, 304 days, this one over 731 days, this one over 1,065 days. So our last cycle was a 4-year cycle. Maybe the next one will be longer and go out to, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500 days, something like that. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Well, I mean, it's certainly the cycle's developing quicker than I thought it would, so I'll say that for sure. It is. But I think it will depend on how quickly we trend to, say, at least $7 or $8 trillion. And if we get there by December of 2021, then yeah, like most likely the peak is then. If we're at three to 4 trillion later this year, I think we still have a ways to go, and then it'll bleed into 2022. And from a fundamental point of view, as we discussed, if this cycle narrative is institutional money, and the idea is that institutions are going to keep onboarding into crypto, are they just going to stop onboarding in 2022? Like, is everyone just going to sell their Bitcoin at the end of 2021, and we'll repeat it again in 2024? I don't think that's how the market's going to work. I mean, yeah, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but that's not what I'm thinking. So. Do I have a glossary of terms I use? No, sorry, I don't. I'm not really sure what terms you mean. Is it possible to break the regression band? I mean, it's possible because it's only fit to 3 data points, right? So yeah, it's certainly possible. How do you get the indicators? Well, the premium list. Find a link to that sale in the description below. That's how you get access to them. Yeah, I mean, I get I get, and we've talked about this on the channel before, right? We've talked about if, one of the reasons for the 4-year, like some of the reasons they'll say it is if that this cycle and then this one and this one, like it's all the same thing. In that case, if your argument is that these are all the same thing, then this one was longer than the first one, right? This was 1,249 days. From, say, at least from bottom to top, right? So 1,249 days, which is actually less than 4 years, right? It's not even 3.5 years. That's 3.42 years. So if you want to include these and say one cycle, then it's close to 4 years, but it's actually less than 3.5 years in that situation. Also, if you say exclude the peaks and you measure it, say, bottom to bottom, 488 days out to 1,100 days out to 1,400 days. Seems like it's getting longer. Obviously, lengthening cycle theory is not cool right now because everything's trending up. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I think we'll see with the test of time how it trends, and if it does change, then we'll obviously take that into consideration. But this is what the data is so far. And if you're curious where we currently are from this cycle, we are already out 823 days. But remember, this is a measure from bottom to bottom, not bottom to top, at least with this analysis. All right, we're still flirting with that 20-day moving average. We're at 49,887, and the 20-day moving average is at 49,934. So obviously, you can see the bulls and the bears are continuing to fight right on top of the 20-day moving average. What is the lowest price I see Bitcoin falling to after this market cycle? Well, I think this cycle will last a while, but after it's over, maybe 40 to 50K, maybe. Yeah, I mean, like, it's possible that the next low of the next market cycle is the current price. 2030 price prediction. I think by 2030, the price of Bitcoin, plus or minus a year or two, will probably be around $300,000 to $500,000 by 2030. And I would actually say, I've done the math on it. I mean, if you dubiously calculate it out and extrapolate out, it's actually around 2031, 2032. I would say somewhere between maybe $300,000 to $500,000 by 2032. Which is a pretty conservative estimate by most people's standards, right? I mean, hopefully we get there before 2031 or so, but that's just, that would be where I would conservatively say we should be at a $300,000 to $500,000 Bitcoin by that time. Yeah, I know people think I'm a bear because I said that, but that's just what I think. Maybe I'll be wrong. Let's get to 300,000. Let's get to 500,000 this year, and I'm not going to be that upset about it. What do I do with the profits I take? Yeah, I generally invest in other asset classes like equities. Maybe I'll invest some in real estate. Probably not so much precious metals. I mean, maybe a little bit. Probably not that much. Honestly, the Sharpe ratios on precious metals, like your risk-adjusted returns on precious metals, aren't that high. So my guess is most of it'll go into mutual funds or some maybe some individual equities, but you have to get careful about going into too many individual stocks because you do carry a lot of idiosyncratic risk by doing that. But if you're just looking to sort of grow the wealth rapidly with crypto and then just protect it for a few months so you can get some better sleep, who doesn't want to get some sleep, right? I mean, we're looking at the last time we got a good night's sleep was probably last year, and especially with me, I have a 4-month-old right now. I'm waking up like 3 times a night dealing with that. So once things calm down, the profits that I've taken to stable coins that are earning interest, right? Earning interest is important. Some might stay there, earning like 8%. I mean, I'll take 8% any day. And then some will go into some of the mutual funds I buy with 0.0% expense ratios. There is a lot of evidence to suggest that the lower the expense ratio on the mutual fund, the better it performs because managers generally are not worth the price you pay for them. That's not always true, but it generally is true. So, and then maybe just put it in mutual funds for a few months while I get a few months of good night's sleep, and then figure out what the hell to do with it. Yeah, we can sleep during the bear market, right? Not much sleep in the bull market, but hopefully the work you put in during the bull market is worth it, right? The worst feeling, right? Taking profits is not a bad thing in crypto because the worst feeling is probably completely glued to a computer for 6 to 12 months or something, and then having nothing to show for it because you continue to chase pumps and lose money day in and day out, right? Don't be that guy. All right, slightly back below down the 20-day moving average. So no bullish breakout quite yet. Michael says I feel caught out. Gear Stan says, yeah, sleep in the bear market after successful bull market gains. As the song goes, right? Don't count your money at the table. There'll be plenty of time for counting when the dealing's done. So yeah, just make sure you make money in the bull market, and then you can count it in the bear market, and then you can deploy that back into the cryptos that you like in the bear market, and then ride the gains again, and then you slowly can become the whale that you've dreamed of becoming. That's the goal, right? If you can't fight the whales, join them, right? Become one. Invest, and then eventually, hopefully, you amass enough to feel like you're a whale as well, right? There's always a bigger fish in the ocean. Who does my taxes? I have a CPA that does my taxes. Ramsey says he saw us break 50K and then retrace. We were streaming well before we broke 50K. We've been streaming for almost an hour and a half, so um, what's the minimum buy that I deem worth it? Someone says a couple $100. It's all about percent gains, right? I mean, it has nothing to do with the absolute value. It's just about percent gains. If you invest 200 and it goes to 2,000, then later on maybe you can reinvest the 2,000 minus taxes, and then maybe that'll go 10x from there, right? It's all about. There's not really a specific. I mean, you have to be able to put enough in so that it doesn't completely, like, the fees of trading don't completely. Or at least the fees of transferring the crypto and stuff don't completely eat into it, but there's not like a specific amount. Do I have any investments in index funds for my kids? Yeah, I have 529 plans for all three of my kids. When am I buying a new chair? Yeah, actually, I want to buy one, but there's actually a decent chance we're moving in, like, I might be moving in like a month or two. So I'm waiting. I might actually wait until we move to get it, because I don't want to like order it and then have it come right when we're moving. 529 is a college. It's like a college plan for you can get for your kids. I like how everyone's asking me what a 529 plan is. Like, just Google it, right? Just Google what a 529 plan is. Like, it's a fund that you can set up for your kids, and they can use it. They can pull out of it to pay like their higher education. What's a tip about investing you could give to an 18-year-old? Just start, right? I mean, I'd say would just start investing. Don't try to chase everything. Just start investing, putting your money into some, you know, you could put some into safe assets to protect some of it, and then try to maybe chase some growth with higher risk assets. But just start investing, I think would be you'll probably be leaps and bounds ahead of your peers. What's that? Yeah, that's the idea. The 529 capital gains is not taxed when you're using it for college. But I mean, they have to actually use it for college. Actually, I don't even know if they have to use it for college. They might be able to, like, if you send them to like, like I think if you send them to like a private school, like even when they're younger, I think you can use it for that too. I could be wrong, right? But I think you can use it for that. Have I watched a movie in full in the last 3 months without checking the price of crypto at least once? Probably not. I don't think I've gone more than 2 or 3 hours without checking the price. My 4-month-old makes sure I check the price in the middle of the night because he wakes up crying, probably because he wants to know what the price of Bitcoin is. So he has me check it. All right, Emod, I'm just gonna I think I'm just gonna hide you from the channel, my friend, for just spamming the same question like 10 times after I've answered it many, many times. All right, let's see where we are. Yeah, it's pulling back a bit. We're now back at 49.5. So this is what I mean. Just keep an eye on it because we've seen these types of moves before where we go up to the 20-day and then just get rejected back down. So keep an eye on that. Let's not assume that we're about to have a major breakout just yet. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I feel like you should subscribe. Uh, Definitely subscribe to the channel. Check out my Twitter. I just posted it there. But if you guys want, we also have the premium list. I'll post that. You can check out the sale. Definitely subscribe. Let's get to 152,000 subscribers. Also, check out the Telegram channel, which now we are looking at over 19,000 people. We're almost at 19.2. So maybe get in early before we hit 20K. Post that in the chat as well. All right, what do you guys think? Should we wrap it up? We've been going for an hour and a half. I mean, I'm not just going to watch Bitcoin chill at 49.5 for hours. So I don't know why some people are saying that they don't get notifications for the videos. I mean, I imagine some people have to be getting notifications because otherwise we wouldn't have. I mean, at the peak we had, 3,800 viewers or so. So I mean, I imagine some people are getting notifications. Did you guys get the notification for this video via YouTube? Did anyone get the notification via YouTube? Looks like there's a mixture of no's and yeses, but there seem to be a lot of no's, so I don't know. I don't know why you're not getting the notifications. Whatever. I mean, surely some people got notifications, otherwise I don't know why you'd be watching it right now if you didn't get the notification. Yeah, to get the notification, hit the bell. You have to hit the bell. After you subscribe, hit the bell, and then you get notifications. If you don't hit the bell, you don't get notifications. All right, why don't we wrap it up? That's probably a good place to wrap it up. We've kind of covered the market. We saw, we're talking about the 20-day. I mean, you guys can see how important it is, right? We get above the 20-day, everyone starts to get slightly euphoric. We get below it, it's already back to business as usual. Now we're back to 49.5. So keep an eye on the 20-day moving average. If we go above it and then stabilize, maybe altcoins will run. So maybe we'll wrap it up. Maybe we'll wrap it up there. All right, subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to see the future videos, give the video a thumbs up. We have the Telegram channel in the description below. We have the premium list as well. You guys know what to do with all that. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.